Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Monday Night Live. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but thank goodness there is no more distractions, no more internationals, no more free weekends. It's now business end stuff. It is post-game split. It is 5 games to make history. And it is now all full steam ahead. Thank goodness. Thanks for sticking with us when there's not been too much to talk about those last couple of weeks, but we've got a lot to talk about. Tonight, we're going to start the build up to Saturday and talk about a few other Rangers-related things. And who better than the man himself, or the men themselves, Kenny and David. David, good evening, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. A bit like yourself, just waiting patiently for the real stuff to start again. 5 cup finals, bring it on.
That's it, Kenny. How are you, mate? Are you well? I'm noticing you're sporting a wee pen behind your ear, looking very Scott Patterson-like. I love it.
Just in solidarity, my good pal Scott. Wee pen. I like what he does. I like his style. And yeah, I just thought I'd stick it on for a laugh. Because we had a wee chat about it the other night and it was very funny.
Yeah. Before we start, I think I'm going to talk about a couple of things. On the podcast here, none of us are professionally trained. We are all Rangers fans. Lucky to have 3 or 4 really good hosts, myself, Andrew, and Scott are able to host. David as well also hosts with more interviews and things. I'm hoping David will be able to host some shows soon. But this is a voluntary thing. Like, all the guys give up their time. They all do it for the team they love. They all support Rangers. We all want to do well. And sometimes in the comments and things, when people are saying, you know, you're doing this wrong, or you're not doing this, or I don't like it when you do this, or you move this way, or whatever, you need professional training. We don't need professional training. We are Rangers fans trying to do our very, very best. I hope that people enjoy what we do on Four Lads. I really, really do. But it's difficult sometimes because we're just normal folk. And, you know, if you want professional stuff, then go and listen to other outlets where they get paid to be performers and things like that. We're just folk wanting to talk about Rangers. And I think that's important. So tonight, when we're talking, we're going to do our very level best, Kenny, to have a good show and just talk about the team we love.
Exactly. That's all we're here for, isn't it? This is more of a laugh than a professional setup. We do this for exactly what you said, and Dave will agree. It's for our love of Rangers. That's the only reason we do it. We like talking about Rangers. Listen, we're all for constructive criticism and all that, but some of it just gets a wee bit personal and a wee bit below the belt. And sometimes you need a right to reply, and it's one of these things, Stevie, that it comes with the territory. You put your face out there, you put your neck on the line, and yeah, you're going to get some criticism. And I've had plenty in the couple of years I've been on Four Lads. I had plenty before that when I did it elsewhere. But I do think it is important for some folk to understand that we've all done this for the majority of people on here have done this for a long time on different outlets as well. So, you know, we're all fairly experienced. For all that we're doing it for the love of it and nothing else. We are very experienced at what we do, and yeah, we're here for a giggle. We're not here to sit there and try and sit and defend ourselves or anything like that. And sometimes we feel we have to do that, which is a shame. But sometimes we do feel that. I mean, I've just seen Davey had stuck a comment on that he had got a wee while back, and I mean, I burst into stitches at that because it's just so petty and silly, and it is one of these things. But listen, we're here for a good laugh. That's what we're here for. That's the bottom line. We're here for fun, and it's a whole lot better when Rangers are winning. So looking forward to this, mate.
Yes, indeed, Davey. Let's get on to it. Rangers are back from Spain. We do believe there's never been official confirmation of this, but we do believe Rangers played a Spanish like 5th division side. And I'm pretty sure, judging by the score, which we believe was 10-0. There was a couple of goals for Chimiti, a couple of goals for Asgard. I can't remember. I need to go and look at what I was kind of saying about it. I don't know teams. We don't know anything. No official confirmation of anything. But they've rattled in a few goals. Skov Olsen scored. And James Tavernier said it was a good exercise, bonding session. Having the chance since pre-season to do that. It'll be Danny Rule's first kind of major takeaway with the guys, I suppose. Major kind of camp away. How do you feel overall about the trip to Spain and what benefits do you hope it'll get?
Well, I think the first thing to say about it is that we've all got scar tissue from previous training camps, haven't we? Which I think's quite a lot of the negativity that surrounds whenever Rangers do this now, because everybody thinks back to, was it Dubai they went to one year, then the season fell apart straight after it. Big clubs all over the world do this when they've got a gap in the season. There's no reason why Rangers can't do it. With 5 games left to play, there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting the team together, getting them eating, living, sleeping, breathing the last 5 games together for a little while, and away for the madness of the west of Scotland at the same time. So it was a perfectly sensible idea. What do your hopes come out of it? No injuries is probably the first thing I'd say to that. And just a team that went into this little gap pretty positive with a bit of momentum. I hope they're now going to go into the last 5 games feeling exactly the same way, because with 5 games left, I still think we're the team on form. I still think we're the team that have got the momentum behind us. We've got a good first game in the split. The fact that it's at home, I just think it's time to keep building on it. And if this trip away has helped in any way to build any kind of team spirit that wasn't there before, then all the better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Kenny Carr makes a good point here as well. As long as there's no injuries, we need to watch that, I think, because the amount of times we've had these trips and they'll come back and before we know it, somebody's got a wee knock or something. I always remember, do you remember, guys, you both remember they went to that Ajax tournament and Gascoigne got injured and he missed like 3 months of the season and it was an absolute disaster. So let's hope everyone's back fit and healthy, a wee bit of tan and ready to go, because we were in a good shape, Kenny, before we went. 14 goals in 3 games. We were beginning to find the net and stuff like that. We're beginning to look dangerous. We look very much like the team with a bit between our teeth. So let's hope that can continue.
Well, going away, that's a chance you take. It's the same as training. You can pick up an injury in training, Stevie. I don't read too much into that kind of thing. If it happens, then I just call it fate more than anything else. It was going to happen. But it is a difficult one when you look at this because of our scar tissue, I suppose is the way you would put it. But I actually quite like the fact that we were away, because when I consider it in a kind of simple way, where I look at it and say, well, we didn't have a game last week. The preparation this week is going to be absolutely normal, where we're back, and it's just a preparation for the Motherwell game now. So the week away is just a bonding session. It's a chance for Danny Rule to, meddle about with a few things, try some things out, get his message across a little bit better in a more intimate environment, I suppose. So, listen, good luck. And as you say, I hope they've all come back feeling fit, healthy, well. And as you say, they've had some sun on their back and a good opportunity to bond with their teammates that they perhaps haven't overly had the chance to do. So I'm quite at ease with it. Let's just focus on Monday now, and it's gone, it's done, and look at Sunday, and look to the future, because it's massive for us this weekend. It really is. It's a massive, massive game.
Yeah, all the games are huge now. Motherwell is the next one. The good thing is we have time to prepare. Then we have time. I think we've got a 9-day break before we play Hearts on the Monday, so there's plenty of time for this. Davey, Tav was doing a William Hill kind of exclusive thing. Says he still hasn't been offered a deal for the club. I think that's the most obvious question everybody's going to answer. He doesn't think too far ahead, he said. Hasn't even answered his wife when he talks about the summer holiday. So that age-old question, does James Tavernier get another contract? Is going to become prevalent all over again. 34, I think he is now. Where do you stand on what is somewhat a worn-out debate on James Tavernier? Are the club doing the right thing, waiting to the very end of the season? Let's have an overview of absolutely everything. The club might have brought in another right back for the future. We don't know. Dujon Sterling is probably the natural successor there, I would believe. But can we trust his fitness? It's one for the ages, I suppose, in terms of this question going round and round.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing to say about James Tavernier is that although he has split the support for many years, he has undoubtedly been a terrific player for Rangers, without shadow of a doubt. And despite what a lot of people seem to think, everyone inside the dressing room has always said what a great captain he is. And he's provided so many memorable moments across what, that was 2015 he arrived, wasn't it? So that's 11 years ago. But as you say, he's 34 years old. And in the modern game, the fullback position is one that you need to be really top fitness for. He's played more than 50 games a season, every season for, I don't know how many years it will be. And probably just about every season he's been at Ibrox, he's played more than 50 games, sometimes 60 games. It's not his fault, but I think he's just, the legs have gone a bit, and I don't think he's really capable of playing that position at the top level anymore. But in terms of his legacy, everybody's going to talk about he only won X number of trophies, etc. The first right back I ever saw play for Rangers was a guy called Sandy Jardine, who you might have heard of. He didn't win the league title till his 9th season with Rangers. In fact, in those first 8 years, he only won 2 domestic trophies. And I think most historians put him right up there, probably as the best right back that's ever played for the club. So one player, no matter how good he is, does not guarantee you trophies. It depends on what he's got around him, and it depends what he's up against. James Tavernier has been a Rangers player probably at the worst possible time in club history. Do I think he should get a new contract? I don't. No, I think it's this is the time for him to move on. I don't want to see him sitting in the stand most Saturdays next season when there's younger players ahead of him. I do think we need to bring in another right back. I don't think Dujon Sterling is robust enough for a season to be a first choice right back at the club, although I do think he's as good a defender as we actually have. And if he was able to stay fit, I would love to see him being our first choice right back next season, because I think he's a terrific player. But I just don't think, history tells you we can't, I don't think, trust his fitness. The best thing that can happen for me is that James Tavernier picks up the league trophy at the end of the season, runs round Ibrox or Falkirk, depending on where we win it, and then he signs off as a champion, because that would be the best thing all round, and he would go with everyone's best wishes. And I hope the vast majority of the support can maybe appreciate just exactly how good a player he's been for us.
Yeah, amen to that, David. I said similar last week. As ever, the lovely take on Rangers history and Sandy Jardine is absolutely spot on here with regards to titles and the criticism that James Tavernier gets. I sometimes forget that it's James Tavernier versus the teams that he's played in the last 10 years. So I can't add in, and I think you sum it up perfectly. For me, Kenny, we've done this age-old adage for the last 2 years that we've done this podcast. Is there anything you would like to add on the James Tavernier contract scenario?
Not overly. This was mentioned about a month ago. It's been repeated again that he's obviously concerned that he's not been offered one. So, that sounds to me like James Tavernier himself perhaps wants to stay another year or so. It's a no for me, and it's not a personal thing. It's just the performance levels over the last 18 months or so haven't been strong enough for me, I think is the way I'd put it. I think he's, Davey mentioned it, and I think he's right. It's a little bit obvious that his legs have gone a bit. And again, I'll reiterate again what Davey said, is in that particular position, you've got to get up and down that pitch. It's one of the most athletic positions in a football pitch, and it's not for an older football player these days. It just isn't, because the workload you've been asked to do is just, it's a bit much. And I agree. I think we probably need two new right backs, to be honest, and because Max Aarons will be away as well. James Tavernier, you couldn't hang your hat on Dujon Sterling, but I agree. Dujon's here for a few years because he signed a long-term deal, didn't he? So he's got quite a lot left on his contract, so he will be here. But you're looking at a reshape of the entire defence, and if I'm being blunt about it, I don't particularly think James Tavernier should be in that rebuild, because I think we have to look to the future, and I think it's quite obvious when you see the recruitment over the last year. That's an awful lot of younger players we're bringing in, Stevie. So, yeah, I'll be quite sad to see him go if he does go. In one aspect, because I think the job he's done, and I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. For me, he totally merits his place in the Hall of Fame. I think he does. I think for the work and the commitment he's shown to our football club, then fair play to him. But all good things must come to an end, and that's where I am with James Tavernier at this moment in time, Steve.
Yeah, I think we're all there. Just let him leave as a champion in the summer. It's the right time. It was the right time maybe 1-2 years ago. That's where I am with it. Shake his hand. Thanks very much. And we need to move on as a football club. So no contract for me. But as Davey says, hopefully in time, and hopefully with another championship under his belt as he walks out the door, it's a perfect way. Manny Fernandez in the SPFL Team of the Year, voted by his fellow professionals. I thought that was absolutely brilliant for Manny. He's thoroughly deserved it. And this is a guy, remember, that missed the first 8-9 games of the season because somebody else was in charge, and we don't want to go down that rabbit hole, Davey. But Manny and Kenny, just get you to jump in on the back of it. He's been absolutely brilliant. When I think about our Player of the Year, Manny Fernandez is in my 3 quite easily. As being one of the ones that should get recognition. I think he's been terrific. And what I like about him is, and I spoke about this as well, is that he has recovered from mistakes fantastically well and shown that he's actually got the mentality to play for Rangers. And we talk about that mentality all the time. We're hearing Danny Rule say that he's one of the ones that are shouting and bawling in half-time against Falkirk. That's a young lad, remember, that's came from Peterborough. Genuinely think that Manny Fernandez has been absolutely terrific. We're talking about a guy that could get us 25-30 million if we were to invite bids in the summer, which hopefully we don't, because I'd love to see him stay and play in the Champions League for us and other things like that. But he's a Nigerian international, a goal scorer, I believe he scored, didn't he, in the 2-2 draw? I think Manny Fernandez did. Davey, I honestly think he's been terrific. I genuinely do. I think he's been absolutely terrific, and he deserves it. So well done to Manny Fernandez.
I couldn't agree more. I think that he's been the pleasant surprise of the season for me, because I must admit, when he arrived last summer from Peterborough, I didn't have massive hopes that he was going to turn out to be our first choice central defender. I saw him as a squad player, but it just shows you that some players, when they get the chance, they're able to grab it and take it. And I don't think there's any doubt, as the seasons went on, he has developed on an almost weekly basis. There was a spell around about Christmas that he was a most potent threat in the opposition penalty box as well for a while. I was really interested in Danny Rule saying last week at Falkirk about Fernandez berating his defensive colleagues and being the one that was doing all the shouting, because I think that's something the team needs. And I must admit, I'd be slightly disappointed if we sell him this summer. I get the whole player trading model. I understand all that, and there's a price tag on every player. And if somebody throws 20-25 million at us, we're not going to turn it down. But looking at the number of defenders that probably are going to leave this summer, and there's another couple that I don't think are ever going to be good enough for us, then I'd like to see us build next season's defence round about him, rather than try and think what we're going to do with the money we get for him. totally deserves to be in the team of the year. I must admit to being slightly disappointed that our goalkeeper wasn't in it, because I think he's been by far the best keeper in the league this season, especially in those first 9 games that you were talking about, when he was called upon at a ridiculous level a number of times. But it's a big pat in the back for young Fernandez. That's what his fellow professionals think of him, and things are only going to get better for him, as you say. Never an international player. I just hope to see him play in the Champions League for Rangers next season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'd love to keep him for another year or two, but in today's environment, money talks, and I'm going to be a wee bit controversial, I suppose, but I'm going to say 25 wouldn't budge him for me. It would need to be a Scottish record transfer sale for me. It would need to be about the 30 million before I would want to say, right, okay, let's do business, because a lot of it will depend on the kid himself. I mean, it's reported today there's 5, 6, 7 Premier League clubs looking at him down south. Now, whether they're looking at him or whether they're going to bid for him are two different things. But there is genuine interest in this boy. And what I like about him most, and I think that we would miss most, if anything, is the leadership qualities that he's clearly shown. He's turned up here. Now, with all respect to Peterborough, because I'm not a tiny club or anything like that, but it's a different environment entirely. And he struggled, and he did struggle, and he struggled with the previous manager, as you both said. But you can just tell when you're watching Rangers that he is just, he's pointing away and he's doing all these leadership things, these captain things, and he's actually probably a captain in waiting for me. Now, I would give it personally to Nico Raskin, but we have a doubt about whether Nico will be here in the summer if he's a good World Cup as well. And that's the issue we are going to have this summer, particularly if we win this league, Stevie, where there'll be a few of them that'll be highly sought after, and Manny's one of them. I found it a wee bit odd that there was 5 Motherwell players in that team. I'm like Davey here. I would have given Jack Butland.
It's voted by the players, though, isn't it? So
yeah, it is, mate. But I just look at that and I feel that 2 of the Motherwell midfielders, I thought that was a little bit odd. I thought one of them, yeah, for sure, but I wasn't too sure about 2. The Motherwell keepers in there, and I'm like, nah, I'm sorry, Jack Butland's been far, far better than him all season, and he has. But listen, it is the players that picked that team, so fair play, but it didn't surprise me at all that Manny Fernandez was there, and I would say that the board and Danny Rule are going to have a major problem in the summer, because we're going to get offers for him, big offers, I think, and it's how big they become that'll determine whether he stays or goes.
So here's where I'm going to probably upset people. His defensive partner on the left-hand side, Nasajiga, I am 100% keeping Nasajiga. If we can pay 7 or 8 or 9 million for Nasajiga with that recovery pace and everything else, I am keeping him. Right-hand side of the defence with Giga in it is a lot more solid than John Suter. Sorry, John, who should be a backup. I think Giga's terrific. See, if we are talking about being a football club that spend 8-9 million on players the way that Andrew Kavanagh spoke about spending Chermiti money, being that's a normal deal for Rangers, then £8 million for Nasajiga, if that's possible, then we should be going to spend that. Here's the other reason why as well. We're not going to lose money on Nasajiga. Nasajiga plays the way he did in the last, I would say 6 weeks. If he plays like that and keeps rising and keeps going, then you could be looking at 2 centre-backs who's going to make Rangers a lot of money. Manny Fernandez is. Why can't Nasajiga? Because I believe if we spent 8 million on Nasajiga, that's getting doubled when he continues his progress. Now, yeah, wages and things are high. Dado's quite right. But it depends on whether or not he wants to play. If he's playing weekly at Rangers, getting Champions League football and stuff like that, then, you know, the 30, 40 grand we can offer him a week might be enough for him. So, Nasajiga, gentlemen, a lot's going to be decided on this next 4 or 5 weeks in this last 5 games, because if Giga and Fernandez are the new, Maldini and Baresi or Desailly at the back, which would just be splendid, we're going to also get that money spent. So if Rangers turn out to be titles, we're going to all want them to stay. I think Giga is another one that's turned his Rangers career around, Davey, and I'm keeping him.
I think a lot probably depends on what Wolves want to do with him. I don't know, are they relegated yet? Did they get relegated at the weekend?
They are all but done, aren't they? Did they get relegated, Kenny? You're nodding.
I think they are basically, their goal difference is so bad. Yeah. I think that's it. I think they're basically gone.
So what you'll see probably is an exodus from Wolves of players that want to stay in the Premier League. Giga's getting paid 70 grand a week by Wolves. Will they see him as potentially the guy that they'll build their new look Championship challenging defence roundabout? Because if they want to keep him and keep paying him 70 grand a week, then I think that kind of puts the kibosh on us being able to compete for him, because we might be able to afford the transfer fee that Wolves might ask for him, but if they're willing to keep paying him the money that his contract says down there, then I think we'd be struggling to anywhere near that. Do I agree with you that he's worth £8 million? Yes, I do, based on the form he's shown since, when did he come back for the African Nations? Middle of January, something like that. Yeah, I do think he is worth that. And I think if we could keep him and Fernandez for a season together, I think that would put us in give us a pretty strong foundation going into next season, whatever European tournament we're going to be getting into. I just have my doubts as to whether, in the Wolves situation, that they might decide that he's actually a player they want to benefit them and trying to get back into the Premiership again.
Yeah, good point from Peter as well. It says his wages will half of the Championship if Wolves are down. May very well, we don't know that, we can't say for certain, but it may be, Kenny, that those clauses for a relegation, it does take wages down and something like that. But how about this? We keep Fernandez, we keep Giga, Suter's there, we buy the young lad from Dundee. That's 4 very good centre-backs there. Enough, hopefully, that should be your 5th guy would be a youngster that comes in maybe from the reserves and under 21s and stuff like that. I reckon that's a pretty solid base. So you would have Romans on the left. Maybe young Scally could come in, which we're about to talk about. You need some work at right back. Sterling, yeah, there's some questions, but it's a pretty decent base, I reckon. I would be quite keen, as I said. Giga, the boy from Dundee, best part of £10 million on them too. Yeah, why can't I remember the boy's name from Dundee?
Luke Graham.
That's it. I kept thinking something else. But Kenny, come in.
I couldn't remember his name either, but just a total brain freeze. For me, yeah, I would keep Giga, depending on price and wages, obviously. But I'm not sure Wolves wouldn't be quite keen to offload him, actually, at this point, because if he's not good enough for the Premier League, as in their opinion, last year, are not ready for the Premier League, they've got to come straight back up. So I'm not sure that they're going to do that. I think when you look at a lot of the English clubs, they do tend to kind of go English in the Championship. Now, Wolves are not necessarily going to do that because of the nature of who owns them and stuff like that. We'll wait and see. But I would be the ideal world is you buy Giga and you keep Fernandez. Of that, there's no doubt, because that is a good young centre defence partnership. That it really is the way you would look at it and say, you could build your back four completely around that. You're talking about the boy for Dundee there, Graham. Yeah, don't mind that at all. Suter's there as backup. That's your 4. As we've already discussed, right half, that's going to be right back. It's going to be a bit of an issue. Left back doesn't seem to be an issue. And I don't know, Stevie. I just look at it and think that let's not get too ahead of ourselves at this minute in time, because the nature of the way we went about our business last summer means that we have got a massive job to do at the back this summer. So we'll need to wait and see what unfolds over the next few weeks and months, because we are in a situation where big and tough decisions are going to have to be made, whether it's from James Tavernier, Manny Fernandez, Giga, bringing him in. It's going to be an upheaval. So I'm quite interested to see what we do. But I would definitely agree with you on the sense that you've got a foundation to build on there if you were to keep Fernandez and sign Giga, yeah.
Okay, moving on. More fantastic news for the club today, because young left back Ashton Scally has signed professional terms, as reported by Joshua Barry in the Rangers Review. He only turned 16 on Saturday, but he travelled with Rolls' first team last week to Marbella, and he's often trained with Rolls' first team group throughout the season. He follows Kyle Glasgow, and this is viewed as a massive coup internally. Huge news for Rangers. The interest in Scally, he'd been approached by Chelsea and Man City in recent months. We know what's happened in the past when that happens, but it looks like he is staying. He's been earmarked for a long time, a high potential player. So that's brilliant to see. Ryden Maguire at 17, just over a year remaining on his contract. We spoke about him before, Kenny, on this show. We talked about his dad, who used to play for Aberdeen and Dunfermline. I always see his dad, always see his mum and dad at all away games and everything like that. They go everywhere, and the young fella's just involved in the training and that before. They go absolutely everywhere to watch him and watch Rangers. So Phil and his good lady are really nice people. I'm keen for him to stay. We've spoke about that before. But this is fantastic news for Rangers. I've got a funny feeling that Danny Rule wants Ashton Scally and Kyle Glasgow to be getting game time, Davey. This is a huge thing. Kenny, again, just jump in with us. It's huge for the lads. For us to be, who's to say that we couldn't have two Romans and this young boy backing him up? I know it's a big ask, but at 16, if we think so highly of him, it's going to happen at some point. Maybe not this year, maybe in a couple of years. But that's fantastic news for the club, especially when we've talked about Kyle Glasgow and Ashton Scally, and we've managed to keep them both.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. And it's brilliant to see young players who don't get their head turned by EPL money, because many a player's done it, and you can understand why they do it. But the vast majority that get down there end up getting farmed out somewhere else anyway, and the vast majority don't make it at the big English clubs because they can buy just about anybody they want. I think it's a great sign this young man is putting his football career first, because and that suggests to me that he trusts the ability that he's got, that he's going to make it at Rangers. And the fact that he's a left back, actually, I think the timing is really good for him as well, because McComb is going to leave, Aarons is going to leave. Okay, we have without doubt got our first choice left back for next season, but he's not going to play every single game, and it's hard to see who his backup's going to be. So if this young boy's getting training with the first team right now, he's in pole position to impress the manager, to get that backup position. I don't think he can expect any more than that at 16 in his first professional contract. But if he's as good as he's meant to be, why not see him if we draw somebody in the League Cup at the start of next season? Why not see him in a game like that? Give him experience in front of a crowd. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And every good Rangers team I've ever seen, more or less, has got some kind of core of Scots in it, has got some kind of core of Rangers supporters in it. And if young Mr. Scally qualifies in both of those counts, then I'm absolutely even happier that he signed his contract.
I'm delighted at this news, I have to say. I know the family, and I know young Ashton a little bit. And
can I just point it out? Sorry, Kenny, you did point out a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, that you were confident he would stay. So fair play.
Aye, well, I might have said I was confident. Well, I was not quite sure how confident I was, to be fair.
Well, you were getting the blame, mate. So
aye, But listen, he had offers coming out his ears. It was incredible. And listen, this is a major, major coup for Rangers because I'm kind of not on the financial terms, but in terms of the clubs that were interested in that boy and the offers that he was getting, I do know for a fact that financially Rangers were not going to be able to compete. So whatever has been put on the table for this kid, it's not about money for him. It's about progress. And he must believe and he must have some kind of assurance. And his dad's an ex-pro as well, very well known, Neil Scally, if you remember him, from a lower league player, Major League, an assistant to Ian McCall over the last few years as well as a manager. But he must have he had some major assurances about where Rangers see him in the pecking order. Now, I'm not sure at 16 that he's going to automatically be the second choice. I would imagine he's probably going to be straight in the first team squad, though, but probably not get too much game time first year. I just don't see it as a 16-year-old in that position. But by all accounts, he is a phenomenal football player. I've not seen him personally, so I can't say that I can judge that. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted about this because I didn't see it happening a few months ago, and I don't think even his family seen it happening. Even though the boy's a Rangers fan and stuff like that, I think some of the clubs that were being mentioned were incredible, Stevie, and the money that was getting thrown at them. So fair play to Rangers, massive fair play to them to get this over the line, because whatever they've done to talk and coax this out, there's been some incredible negotiations going on, because this boy would, put it this way, I do know this boy would have been effectively a millionaire if he'd signed for one or two of the clubs that were looking at him at 16. That's how much money he was getting offered. So fair play to Rangers.
That's the thing, though. Chelsea and Villa and things like that will, Chelsea and City and things like that will not think twice about throwing 10 grand a week at somebody like Ashley Scally and just stick him in the B team. Probably the same way as Tottenham have done with young Wilson from Hearts. So, yeah, major coup for Rangers. Fantastic news. Fabrizio Romano, who rumours are wears Stevie Clifford pyjamas to bed, tweeted today that Schalke and Ajax are interested in signing Bailey Rice in the summer. Right, okay, call me suspicious on this. Let me tell you what's happening with Bailey Rice. Rangers are negotiating currently. Rangers want to see if he's going to get fit. They want to see how he's going to return. Rangers are interested in keeping Bailey Rice. This, for me, in my opinion, is an agent feeding Fabrizio Romano, who doesn't get interest. He doesn't get news from Rangers. He gets news from agents, and he's fantastic at what he does. So, not an issue with the job he does. But I reckon this is purely on, or I know this is purely on agent maybe leaking stuff and pushing Rangers to go and offer properly a contract to Bailey Rice. And I think that's the situation. I have my own personal feelings on Bailey Rice, which I'm happy to share. Davey, what do you make of this news today?
I must admit, you've probably explained the background to it, which is why I was scratching my head earlier on, because I thought Ajax seemed like a bit of a leap for a guy who was with Rangers for 3 or 4 years and never really made a breakthrough. There's no doubt Bailey Rice was a much sought after talent at 16 years old. In fact, I think he starred in the same Motherwell youth team as Lennon Miller, and he was the one that most of the big clubs were after rather than Lennon Miller at the time. But it takes more than just talent to make it at a club like Rangers. You need more than that. You need the attitude. You need to be able to handle the expectations. You need to be able to work hard every single day of the week to make sure you deserve a place in the team. Up until now, or up until his injury, I don't think there was much evidence that he was going to dislodge the players that were in the team and have a regular run in the team. I thought it was really interesting at the end of last season when Barry Ferguson was the interim manager. I was kind of expecting him to put Bailey Rice into the team quite a lot. Him being someone else who came through the academy, played in the same position, I thought he would. But Ferguson was actually quite scathing, I thought, one or two times in press conferences about him, which I don't think was to do with his ability. I think it was more to do with his attitude towards doing the necessary yards to get into the Rangers team. Then obviously he got his injury at the start of this season, which has completely snookered the last year of his contract. Will Rangers offer him another contract? I'm not sure. I don't know if he had done enough beforehand to earn it. But at the same time, if he did develop the way that he was meant to be potentially going to develop a couple of years ago, then he's exactly the kind of player that we've talked about. I wish Rangers had went for him. I wish Rangers had kept him. And the sort of Lewis Fergusons of this world. But if he does stay, it needs to be on the basis that he's not a first team player, and he's got all the work to do ahead of him if he ever wants to be a first team player. And if he gets a big offer from somewhere else, then I think he just goes, because I don't think Rangers can be doing anything silly here.
His lack of pace has always been a concern for me. For a big lad, he's quite cumbersome at times, and I just don't feel he's progressed the way he should have done. And yeah, you're right, Dave. He's had a difficult year this season with injury, and that's kind of curtailed any opportunities he's had all season. So that's fine. But for me, I wouldn't be offering him a new contract. And I do totally agree with you as well, Stevie, in terms of Fabrizio Romano coming out with it. And as you say, the knowledge that Rangers don't give him anything. So that's came from Bailey's side themselves, I would imagine. And that's a hint to either put up or shut up to Rangers, I would imagine. And I would be saying, well, away you go and sign for Ajax or Schalke then, because it's a hell of a leap, isn't it? To be sitting there, barely had played a game for Rangers for 3 or 4 years, to go and sit and play at that level. So I don't know. I don't want to be too disparaging about the boy, but I just feel that there is obviously something lacking with him, because he's had an ample opportunity. He's had a number of managers that have kind of had a look at him and not thought he's up to it. So there is obviously a flaw in his makeup, whatever that may be. But that happens with young kids. You know, a kid at 16, 15, 16, and a boy at 20 is two different things. And kids progress. And if you always look at that with Bailey. He looks the same. He's not grown any bigger from when he was 16. If you look at him, he's the same kind of size and physique. So he's not bulked out much more than he was when he was a kid. And that might still come, I don't know. But I just feel it's one of those things that, for me, when it comes to players that have had 3 years to get that opportunity to make your mark at Rangers, and if you've not done it, then I'm kind of concerned that he's never going to do it now, Stevie. I really don't think he is, and it's probably best that he moves on, in my opinion.
Hey, okay, a few things to say on this. I'm going to answer this first. The manager's seen Rice every day in training, so he'll be offered a new contract. I think it would have been done by now. No, Richard. Bailey Rice has been injured for the last 6 months. I think the manager's yet to see him. I think that's the biggest thing. My understanding is Rangers are waiting to see if he can regain fitness before they commit to any proper offer. And that's probably why the agent is pushing for this today. A couple of things on Bailey Rice. Here's where it's not. We've not done Bailey Rice any favours, and Bailey Rice hasn't done himself any favours. Undoubtedly, in my opinion, we signed Bailey Rice as a future midfield starter for Rangers Football Club. And what we've done is, because we took him from Motherwell, that means he's not homegrown. So we have kept him 16, 17, 18 to make him homegrown at Rangers. So by the time he was available to go out on loan at 19 and things like that, where he is now, it's too late, because teams aren't interested, and because he has now hit injury after injury, teams will not take a chance on Bailey Rice. So it's cracking. Bailey Rice is now a Rangers homegrown player in Scotland for Rangers, etc. But the stagnation in his progression has been massive. here's where Rangers need to learn lessons in what we are doing. We need to be in a position where we're loaning boys like that out, and we've done it to Leon King as well. Leon King at Ayr United has been brilliant and is now getting rave reviews and having all sorts of teams from England and Scotland watching him to pick him up in the summer. Because remember, his contract's up with us in the summer and he's not going to stay at Ayr, I wouldn't imagine. There's Robbie Fraser, absolutely brilliant for Dunfermline, left back, team of the year, and is about to play in a Scottish Cup final and hopefully win it. Robbie's done absolutely brilliant. As much as Robbie's year away from Dunfermline, you would probably be quite happy with Robbie Fraser at left back with two Romans next year. That's the extent of it. So we've not given Bailey Rice, in my opinion, enough opportunities. Here's the flip side of it. Bailey Rice, when given the opportunities, has also not shown the hunger and desire that's capable at Rangers. When you think about me asking Michael Beale about Bailey Rice 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, and him saying that Bailey should be further on than he is at the moment, 2 years ago, whatever it was, Michael Beale, because he was at that point coming into the team. And then Philippe Clement does play him at Old Trafford and he looks well because the game's slower and stuff. He never really built on any opportunities he's had. Whenever I watched him in the B team, when I was covering the B team quite a lot last season, it was other players, Paul and Seal, stood out head and shoulders above Bailey Rice. So it's not a criticism, it's just a stagnation in Bailey Rice's career. And that's disappointing for Rangers. Do we give him another year one option and send him out on loan somewhere? See if we can get him down to somewhere like Ayr United playing like Leon King has, or Dunfermline or somewhere like that, these are big clubs where the crowds are good. You know, you're getting 5,000-6,000, I think, at Dunfermline on a decent match day. Could you loan him down somewhere like that and get him proper game time? That's one of the questions for me. I just think there's been a stagnation there, lads, that it's probably too difficult to recover. And if it is going to recover, it needs certain things to really work. Is that fair? Is it critical? Is it too much? That's the way I see it.
Well, I can't see him starting in the Rangers first team next season. So if we did offer him a contract, and I think that's a big if, then I think it would need to be one where the first year's spent somewhere else and prove yourself, and then you can get a second year if you prove yourself out on loan. I think that makes perfect sense. Whether he would want to do that, whether his agent would want to do that, I've got no idea. But I can see no prospect of him being in the Rangers midfield next season. So for me, he either has to accept a year somewhere else and then see if it works out for him, or else he just starts again somewhere else.
Kenny?
I don't think you're unreasonable at all there. As I say, I've just said what I said, and I personally feel that it's probably best for both parties if he moves on, to be honest, because I just feel that when you've had that amount of time at our club and you haven't stamped any authority on it whatsoever, and he is only a kid, I understand that, and he's been injured in the last season where he might have had an opportunity, but I just can't see it working here for him. It'll be the first time I've been wrong about stuff like this, right enough, so who knows, but I just don't see it personally as a Rangers fan that's looking at it. I just see him as almost surplus to requirements at the moment, because yeah, he's homegrown, but at the same time that is effectively just taking a seat on a European bench now, Stevie. That's all that's doing. And I would much rather, with all respect to Bailey Rice, I would much rather give these opportunities to the Scallies and the Glasgows and stuff like that. Now, just put them in there, let them take their opportunities, Stevie, and build to the future. I think I've said this to you before many times, and it is, and I'm repeating myself again, I know that, but our youth setup is not right, and I just always feel that it's not right. It's not been done properly for a number of years, and I just feel that we have an opportunity this minute in time with a new structure getting put in place at the football club to do this right. And for me, probably Bailey's just going to be one of those that's, as I say, not going to make it here.
A missed opportunity for everyone. I think we'll look back on Bailey Rice. I hope he goes on to, if he doesn't stay at Rangers, which we'll see. If he does make a move like that, I really hope it works out for him. I hope we're not kicking ourselves. I hope we'll just need to wait and see, I suppose. A couple of things to kind of close up on. Thank you, Daniel. Brilliant pod with Chris Burt. You can all watch that. That is available in the interview section for everybody to watch, and recordings. Go and watch that. That is available. We are doing our next episode of the Rangers Years very, very soon. I'll let Davey talk about that just in a minute. And also, thank you, George, for the message. Glad everything worked out for you, my friend. That is good news. Kenny, what are we doing this week? Podcast Wednesday night, and then on Friday we will have, well, we're playing a live show in Grangemouth. Some tickets for that, I think, are still available. For anyone that lives over that way and wants a ticket, please get in contact with us. So that is available. But on Friday, we're also going to take in Rangers women's game against Hearts. Rangers have got themselves in an incredible position, only 2 points behind Hearts now, at the top of the league, overtaking Glasgow City after being 9 behind. This is a top of the table clash. And we're going to take that in, and then we're going to make the mad dash to Grangemouth. So even listen, see if we're a wee bit late. We're the stars of the show. I'm sure they'll wait. Or I'm sure we might be late, whatever way you look at it. But interesting week as ever to look forward to. And then we're both on the gantry on Saturday for Motherwell as well.
Sunday, I hope.
Is it Sunday? Hold on.
Aye, Sunday.
Motherwell game Sunday?
Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day, don't you?
You come and get me on Saturday if you like, mate. I'll be busy. No, it's a busy weekend. I'm looking forward to it, mate. Wednesday, hopefully Chris will be back. And Friday, looking forward to Friday. It'll be good fun. And yeah, but old Amrit, meeting up with Amrit again. It's he's some boy, isn't he? So looking forward to that. Scotty's coming with us, and big one on Sunday, mate. That's the bottom line. It's big one on Sunday. Really looking forward to the game. It's going to be nervy, but let's just turn up, do the business, and yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. I really enjoyed it, and I'll need to get some sleep actually thinking about it, because that's a busy week, isn't it? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Oof.
Mate, I generally thought the game was Saturday. I didn't really. I knew, but I hadn't. What a nightmare that would have been. Because they lot play Falkirk on Saturday, don't they? And of course, they would never move them, would they? Davey, thanks as ever, mate. It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, yeah. As you say, I've got an interesting week ahead. I was speaking to a Barcelona Bear on the phone today who has agreed to come on Thursday and record an interview with me. A man that actually, when he first played for Rangers, the likes of Jim Baxter and Bobby Shearer and Eric Calder were all still playing for Rangers at the time, and he played all the way through to the mid-70s. The left back in the team that won the European Cup Winners' Cup final, his name's in the Hall of Fame board, Willie Matheson. And I'm so looking forward to talking to him. So apart from that, I'll see you in the gantry on Sunday as well, because I'm on it for a follow. So we can, 3 baldies can sit together in the gantry.
3 boiled eggs is that one guy who keeps posting, keeps continue to say, I just delete them. It's too fragile for my ego. How do we get tickets for Friday night? Just email us at 4ladshadadream@gmail.com. 4 is spelled 4, not the number 4. And I will put you in contact with Amrit, and he'll sort you out. I think it starts 7:30 till 10:30. Amrit's feeding you as well at that, and you get all sorts of little 4Lad gifts and everything else. So that's in Grangemouth on Friday evening if you want to come along. This is purely Amrit's show. And we're doing a 4Lads pod. I think he's done it just so that he can do a live show. But and you know how excited he is. So yeah, really looking forward to that. We do, as I said, we're really looking forward to Willie Matheson. That'll be available for all members. A Barcelona Cup Winners' Cup legend coming on this podcast is quite phenomenal, really, and we're thoroughly looking forward to it. If you do want to become a member, you can do, and all you have to do that is scan the wee barcode that isn't up on the top left corner, and I don't know where it's gone, and this is what happens when Andrew isn't here. I don't know what to do. Oh well, it used to be up there, but it's in the to become a member, you get all podcasts. Kenny, stop laughing. Made an arse of it. You get all podcasts ad free, and you also get our extended content as well. So yeah, the barcode used to live up there. It's no longer there. And yeah, I'm quite embarrassed. But you can get the details of it in our description. Kenny, save me, please, while I look for this.
I don't know what it is. That's not my bag. That's Andrew's bag. I have no idea. No, can't see it, mate. Sorry.
Somebody help me, I'm drowning. No, well, it used to be there. It was nice when it was there. It's no longer there. But anyway, have a good week, folks. We'll catch you on Wednesday, where myself, Chris, and maybe Chris and Kenny will be back. The barcode may or may not be here also, but you can become a member by looking in the description and you get a link to it. So that was fabulous. That was fun. Christ, the comments about us needing training are going to be wild after that shit show. Sorry, everyone. But anyway, have a splendid couple of days. We thoroughly appreciate it. All your love and support here on Four Lads, all the comments. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Protection and Joinery, Aflo Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, our very own Candid, and our Sunday sponsor, rydc.co.uk. Yeah, on my way to die of embarrassment. Hope you all have a splendid couple of days. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Aflo Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.